Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson, and this is another 5 things that we learned. Well, it's not really something that we learned, but it's 5 things that we can look forward to with Project Restart. Now, it does seem that the Premier League are hell-bent on making sure football returns, and all of the proposals that we've even seen FA Cup dates start to get penciled in, and I do like that because it seemed absolute nonsense. For the 92 games that needed to be played in the Premier League, there's only 7 games that would be needed to the conclusion of the FA Cup, and you're like, well, surely if you're going to complete something, let's complete the FA Cup if that's all that there is left to do. But it does seem like they're pushing ahead with all of the fixtures that are remaining. There's even talk of Europa League and Champions League going to be happening a little bit later on in the summer, probably a few weeks off, and then start again with the 2021 season. Clearly, we are doing this thing, so you might as well get stuck into it, and you might as well enjoy it. Well, here's the things that we need to be looking forward to as a United fan coming into Project Restart. First and foremost, then, from a United fan perspective, the fixture list. United have got a pretty straightforward running. We've got winnable games. You've got games that you would like to see United competing in, and with top 4 and that Champions League qualification being just on the horizon, then you've got to suggest that it's probably quite a good run-in for Manchester United in aid of that. And this isn't even touching the fact that Manchester City might have their ban upheld. United could probably make ourselves a very comfortable position inside that top 4 qualification for the Champions League. And it doesn't even matter whether City are in the Champions League or not, because we'll make sure we're there on our own accord, regardless of any ban that them guys get. 4 of the final 9 games that we've got left to play are against teams that have struggled so far and are what you would consider very winnable. You got Villa and Bournemouth, who are in relegation spots, and you've got Brighton and West Ham, who are just outside of them. You would expect United need to go to those places and pick up 12 points from those games. But we also have games against the likes of Palace and Southampton, who've not been fantastic this season. I know the previous results against them weren't great. You know, the squad now has got Bruno Fernandes. It looks like it might have Paul Pogba back. Marcus Rashford's out on the training pitch, fucking bodying everybody. United are in a pretty strong position, providing no one picks up random little muscle injuries because of how dormant they've been over the last couple of months. United could go into this fine. Injuries are going to have an enormous impact in this. There's been a 250% increase in injuries in the Bundesliga since they've returned, so that's certainly something that everyone needs to mitigate. But it does look like United have got over the majority of our injuries to the squad, so we should be going into this quite confident. The remaining 3 games that we've got, Spurs, Leicester and Sheffield United, didn't necessarily perform too great in those games, and they're also teams in and around us where we're going to have to take some points off them. The bonus is that because they are in and around us, the opportunity is there for us to go and take some points off them. Here's an interesting fact for you as well. In the 27 games that we've seen in the Bundesliga so far, only 5 have been home wins. You would expect somewhere in the region of 14 home wins, usually. So this is not good. Home advantage has been absolutely wiped out, and there's some talk to suggest actually that there's now an away advantage in this current no-fan situation, and United's result in LASK certainly wouldn't do anything to dissuade that opinion. This could really help us, certainly with our first game being Spurs away. If there is no such thing now as home advantage, United definitely need to go and take advantage of that against Spurs. That would be a massive boost for United coming back and hopefully maintaining the sort of unbelievable form that we saw prior to lockdown happening. It's very important that United hit the ground running, I think. No time to work into this. You've got a 9-game season, followed by a cup, followed by another cup. It's going to be intense. It's probably going to be twice a week. It is that festival of football that we spoke about. It's going to be awesome. But let's make sure that it's awesome because we're winning. Second reason then is, well, it's Pogba and Bruno, isn't it? I mean, on paper, that is the midfield partnership to unlock any defence. You want to sit back against us? Fucking go ahead. It doesn't matter. Those two should be able to create. You get the right number 6 in behind them, covering and sweeping it behind them, and it does not matter who you are, especially with the form that Igalo, who's now staying, Greenwood, Marshall and Marcus Rashford have been in. That's a very exciting proposition. You would have Dan James back, fit and firing as well. We look like we can score goals. And considering we've been keeping them, second best clean sheet record in Europe, United could be quite formidable coming into the back end of the season. But Bruno and Pogba, it might not work. But everybody's excited about it. And it's not just fans that are excited about it. Bruno's excited by it. Bruno was saying, I think we have a lot of good players in the midfield. I'm confident what Paul can give us to the team. And I think he has a lot to give. He has a lot of quality. And I think with a positive energy in the club, because we won a lot of games and we're in a good moment, everybody, the supporters and everything, will be more patient with Paul maybe. It's an interesting line that he chose to use there, but I think he might actually be onto something. Look, the confidence in the team is a lot bigger now. I think the confidence in the manager following the destruction that we've seen of Chelsea, the destruction that we've had of Manchester City against the odds. I mean, how many managers have taken Pep to task with Jesse Lingard in the team in the form that he's been in this season? I think it's got to be good. He continued. He said, I think when Paul comes back, he will feel this and will give more for the next months and the next games. Both of these players are unbelievably good footballers. Pogba doesn't get the credit he deserves for what he's done on the football pitch because of what he does and he allows to happen, more importantly, off the football pitch. The prospect of having both of these guys together in the midfield creating something could be absolutely devastating, and I am very excited to see it. The amount of chances that should be happening now for Tony and Marcus and Mason, fucking stop it. Get an early night, lads, because you're going to have so many shots to convert in these matches coming up. I mean, you saw how quickly Bruno took to take to the team. He's now been training with the team a lot longer. He's been part of the team, at least socially distant part of the team now for several months. What's adding another world-class midfielder going to do to the ability of Bruno to create? You think, all right, we're going to double mark Bruno? That means you're leaving Pogba free. Fucking good luck with that. And number 3, of course, it's the injury recoveries. Rashford's back. Pogba is back. United now have no significant injuries to any key players, which means Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has basically got a pretty much clean slate to choose from. And it's only going to strengthen the team going into Project Restart. You've got rotation, which is going to be key, and this is going to be so important. From going from watching 10 hours worth of The Last Dance every single day to being able to play 2-3 matches a week is going to take an unreal toll. As I said earlier, there's 250% increase in injuries in the Bundesliga. I spoke to somebody at United who was worried about the impact that this is going to have when the players come back. Especially the impact that they were worried about is because they get hands-on with the players. They do a lot of massage therapy and they do a lot of joint manipulation and stretching, the physios and the strength and conditioning team, to make sure that the players are recovering, they're not getting tight, they stay flexible. All of those sorts of things are going to impact their ability to be able to bounce back and recover and be resilient when it comes to playing so many games a week from a standing start. That being said, I expect a lot of injuries, so rotation is going to be very, very important for us here. We've already spoken about the possibility of Bruno and Pogba as a partnership, but just having someone like Pogba coming back is an absolute boost for us. Having someone in the form that Marcus Rashford was in coming back is an absolute boost. He's training properly and he looks like he's going to be available selection now when it comes in. He's not had as much ball time as some of the rest of the players have had. So you've got the luxury of now being able to start him on the bench. Go with Gallo up front, play Tony on the left and Mason on the right. Bring Marcus on for 20 minutes. Fucking brilliant. That's how you're supposed to use a squad. Not, Marcus, has that leg fell off yet? Nah. Can you start? What's all that about? Because that's what we've had to do. Because there just hasn't been the bodies at times this season. We clearly missed Marcus at times. I thought it was clear. I think Tony's game fell off when Marcus wasn't featuring, as did Marcus's when Tony wasn't featuring. But having someone like a Gallo in the mix now, total different style centre forward, is really interesting. And I think we've got a very, very interesting starting 11, which is good to talk about, man, because in this last 3 fucking months, we've not had any actual football to talk about, to analyse, to get excited about. Now we can start talking about your starting 11s. Who plays against Spurs? Clean sweep. Who are you going with? Let's hear it. Give us your starting 11s. I can't fucking wait to see everyone's starting 11. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer starting 11 in a couple of weeks. Fucking mint. Number 4 then, yep, 2 trophies. And obviously the top 4 trophy that Arsenal used to have for years and years. We could win that. We could get into the top 4 on our own merit, and I'm very much looking forward to ending the season on a high and getting in there under our own steam. And then if City get banned on top of that and Sheffield United creeping behind us, fucking buzzing. Absolutely mint. That'd be fantastic. That'd be the best case scenario all around, wouldn't it? But we do still have 2 competitions that we can win. The top 4 trophy, look, we need it for the progression of the club and for those wishy-washy fans that we've got in the fan base, we need it to shut them up as well. The ones that are constantly saying that we don't have a style of play. Really? Maybe watch the match. The ones that were saying, Ollie's not a very good tactician. Really? How many fucking shit tacticians beat Mourinho and Pep in the same week? You know, add that to some of the... Look at his record in big games. It's phenomenal. That's not an accident. Ollie needs to finish inside the top 4 for his own reputation and patience within the fan base. Because we all know that them lot can just turn and make it very difficult and very toxic again. So it's important that he gets momentum, and it's important that he does that in the league. The bread and butter is the league. Let's not forget football's about winning things. It's always been about winning things. And United are still into 2 cup competitions. We could finish so strong this year. So strong. And if we finish as FA Cup champions of the world, Europa League champions of Europe and the universe, we get to a semi-final in the League Cup where we was unlucky really in the end of it to go out. It was a 1 quarter of a game where City blew us away and we had no answer for it in the remaining 3 quarters of the second half of that game, and then the second leg we just couldn't get enough goals. But in terms of progression of a season, it's there to see. And this at the start of the season was comfortably one of United's worst 11s, but Solskjaer has improved several members of the first team squad, and he's bought absolutely perfectly with the members of staff that he's brought in. We've got 2 cup competitions, and I fucking love the FA Cup. I fucking love the FA Cup, and I can't wait. We're 90 minutes away from Wembley. An empty Wembley, granted, and I'm not going to be getting a day out. But it's 90 minutes away from Wembley. And then you're only 90 minutes away from a final. That's how close United are. And the Europa League, well, I'd have to say we're in the next round after a 5-0 start in the first leg. I wouldn't be surprised if LASK was like, well, we're not getting the gate or anything. We'll give you a bye. You fucking 5-0 up. Go for it. And if they don't, we'll just fucking slap them again. There's no one United should be scared of in the Europa League. We can go right through it. We could have a phenomenal end to the season. We could go unbeaten. I don't think we will, because I'm sure we're probably going to pick up some injuries. But we could have a fantastic end to a season. And how much fucking momentum would that be? How good would that feel? How good would it feel watching a player that we saw lift the FA Cup as a player, lifting it as our manager? And finally, number 5, United are back. We've watched the Bundesliga. I bought a fucking Werder Bremen shirt. My heart wasn't in it. I just wore it. We've watched the Bundesliga. We've watched a bit of fucking this, that and the other on the telly. We've watched UFC, and it's just not felt the same. Manchester United probably won't feel the same as well. But it's still Manchester United. And you can still get invested into it. And you can still have a good laugh. It's time for us to enjoy our own team again. And I mean enjoy our own team again, like we have for most of 2020. We had a fantastic run up until the pandemic hit. There's smiles on people's faces watching the team. There's no feeling quite like watching your own. Football might be back, but it's a watered down bullshit version. Nothing quite like watching your own team. And every match apparently is going to be available to watch on some broadcast or another. So there's no reasons that we're going to miss out on any of these games. It's going to be fucking epic. Let's get behind the lads in any way that we can whatsoever. And let's hope that we have a strong finish to the season. Fucking come on.